Dr. Drake 63 here today, and today we're going to talk about what I call the new generation of Glock 19s, and that's going to be the Glock 19 Generation 5 and the Glock 19X. Okay, both of these are sporting new triggers. Both of these have some slightly different things we've talked about quite a bit. Talked about the cutout on the mag well. We've talked about the pierce grips and things like that quite a bit. You can look at those videos if you're interested. And talked about this quite a bit as well. More capacity here that you'll see with the Glock 19X. Okay. Now, some things that are complaints for some people about these guns are that they don't have the finger grooves anymore. And I'm going to tell you that that's the reason I got them to begin with. Glock 19 is one of the most prolific concealed carry 9mm pistols in the world. It's very wide selling. I've seen it called the Honda Civic of pistols because it's reliable. It's not necessarily really exciting. And, you know, it goes up against a lot of exciting competitors, or more exciting competitors. You know, the X lost out in military competition to SIG. SIG's been having some quality problems, and is the SIG a better pistol than the Glock? Not to me, it's not. But I don't procure for the Army. So you do have some different magazines for the Generation 5. So you've got different magazines that are available for the 19X. You have the extended magazines that are also sold for these from Glock, and these are going to hold 20 rounds, so you get 21 round capacity. And as I'll show you in a minute, I don't have any problem carrying that in the waistband. So you've got some differences now, and I've detailed that quite a bit in prior videos. So today, what I want to talk to you about is having lived with these firearms now. This one's been everyday carry off and on until I got this one, and then kind of alternating. But I've been everyday carrying both of ththese pistols to some extent or another, coming up on a year, starting back when I picked this one up. And all I can tell you is they're both no-fail firearms, thousands of rounds through each. I think we're coming up on the 2,000 round mark with this guy, and somewhere around 1,500 rounds with this. And like I said, both of them feature a great trigger. I've enjoyed the living heck out of firing them, and mentioned in one of the videos I did last year that I needed to up my game when it came to my pistol marksmanship, and thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds later, I have done that. I've worked on the things that I consider to be flaws, and so today we're going to talk a little bit about firing these firearms. My philosophy of use is real simple: rapid fire. We're not in this game to shoot the same hole over and over, taking our time. We're in this game to be in a situation where we can save our ass against one or more attackers, and the only way I know to do that is to develop the skill that allows you to put a lot of lead on target very quickly. So that's how I practice, and would encourage anybody that goes to the range and takes their time shooting targets. Great. I'm not saying don't do it. I do it sometimes, but it's not going to prepare you for a self-defense situation. What's going to prepare you for a self-defense situation is having automatic muscle memory with your grip, is being able to get this gun on target quickly and squeeze off a lot of rounds without having it go all over the place. And there's only one way to do that, guys, and that's practice. But as far as a carry firearm, you know, this one with a longer grip is gonna print a little bit. Okay, I've noticed that. Basically, I don't care, so that always helps. When you don't care whether you print or not. I'm not trying to make a show, but bottom line is I love shooting this gun. I'm one of the few, I think, that like the factory night sights that come on it. It took me a while to get used to this coyote tan. As you can see right here, you're going to get a little bit dirty there, and that's going to show where it's not going to show as much on a black firearm. And I'm a guy, it took me a while to get over the idea that, you know, guns need to be black. So, but I do like the coyote tan. I do like these firearms quite a bit, and I think that if you are someone that is a 9mm aficionado and you find that these Glocks fit your hand well, you're going to have no problem. The triggers are phenomenal, and like I said, I've enjoyed shooting them. So we're going to take a look at some shooting today, and we'll wrap up here at the end. Just also wanted to mention real quick, I've been using and continuing to use this Galco holster, which obviously fits both of these perfectly. Here's your nomenclature. I'm not here to sell for Galco, but this is a Kydex style holster. It's simple. You do have the ability to adjust right here, which I did a little bit, and found that in case of both of these firearms, it locks in tight, and I've never had any issues with it wanting to come out or anything like that, but it comes out easy enough when I need it to. Didn't flatter myself with this overly tight shirt, but I wanted to give you an idea what kind of print you get there. Here was the 19X, and in the waistband Galco holster works really well, and because you have the exact same slide, no adjustments necessary for the 19 Generation 5, and this unholsters and reholsters very well. I'm a big fan of in the waistband holsters, and I typically carry at somewhere around 3:30, 4 o'clock position. So one thing I want to encourage anybody to do, if you're going to practice for self-defense, which is what these two firearms are, self-defense tools for me. They're not toys. If you're going to practice self-defense, you need to practice unholstering your weapon. And a lot of ranges don't allow you to unholster and fire as part of your routine, so suggest that what you do is make sure that you have an unloaded pistol and practice your unholstering elsewhere at home or whatever until you can get someplace where you can unholster and fire. We're gonna respond how we rehearse. So if we practice correctly, it could save our lives. If we don't practice correctly, these will probably not do us a lot of good. As far as I know, the only way to get better at mag changes is to practice mag changes. So I make sure I do that when I go to the range. Other things that I like to work on: practice shooting with one hand, because you never know when you might need to use your other hand for something else, and you don't want the first time that you shoot with one hand to be when you need it the most. So encourage everybody to practice with one hand, practice with offhand. More than anything else, make sure you practice lots and lots of rounds. 9mm is still pretty cheap, guys, so that you can go out and get a case of this stuff and fire away, and strongly suggest that you do. Here we're getting into the 19X, and we're going to go through the same drills. Noticing that the real key here is to make sure that you are holding on your target, that you're squeezing the heck with every finger in your hand except one, and that's your trigger finger. That needs to be able to stay limber and loose enough to pull the trigger and respond and find that reset. And as you can see, lots and lots and lots of loading. Did I mention that there's lots and lots and lots of loading? You can load all your mags before you come like I do, but sooner or later you're going to have to reload. Just like with the 19 Generation 5, practicing with one hand. Like I said, you never know when you might need that other hand to open a door, to push somebody away. You just don't know. So being able to fire with one hand is extremely important. It's not going to be your most accurate way of shooting the gun, but you do need to know how to do it. Oh, and did I mention that there's lots and lots and lots of reloading? One thing I like to do when I do tape myself shooting is do slow motion and take a look at what my technique is. Do I have any weaknesses? You know, you see a little bit of a flip there, nothing that I'd classify as a limp wrist. It's just what recoil looks like in slow motion. But sometimes you can catch yourself getting into some bad habits, and it's always a good idea to actually videotape yourself shooting or have someone else videotape you so you can see what your technique is, what's your recovery. Here you notice that despite the flip, I'm getting back down on target pretty quickly. As you can see here, we're hitting center mass. The target distance is 10 yards or 30 feet, and that's what we're aiming for. Here you see in my my ammo box, I've got a mixture of stuff, some cheap brass and some real cheap steel ammo. And I mix them together in magazines. It really doesn't matter. It's a Glock. It eats it all, and it does a really good job. So pleased with the results. Okay, so to kind of continue on with my I'm not a fanboy mantra, I think I probably am reaching that point where you can say I'm at least a Glock 19 fanboy. I've owned other Glocks. I've got videos out there that talk about the Glock 21, which I've got a Generation 3 that is about 15 years old. It's a police turn-in model or whatever you call it, and so it's somebody else's gun for a long time, and it's on occasion had some cycling issues, and I don't know how much of that is just a situation where I become so used to shooting 9 that maybe I'm limp wristing the 45 a little bit. I don't think so, because I've had plenty of high power pistols, but had a Glock in 10 millimeter, the 20, great firearm. Expensive to shoot, kind of bulky size-wise, and had the Glock 43, which is reviewed also. I did a review on that probably about 9-10 months ago. Nice little gun. I just don't really have the interest in carrying around 7+1, and I don't want to put finger extensions on a small pocket-style gun to make it more like a non-pocket style gun. So. I'm definitely a fanboy of the Glock 19s that are out today. There's going to be people that say, man, you know, I don't like it. They changed this, they changed that. It is interchangeable with this, that, or the other. Magazines, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you're somebody that's firmly entrenched in Glock Generation 3 or 4, I can understand that sentiment. I'm not. I didn't buy them because of the finger grooves. I don't like the finger grooves at all. And I couldn't be happier that you don't have finger grooves on these firearms today. I couldn't be happier about that. I think that is the useless as tits on a boar, so to speak. So anyway, I do like where they've gone with these firearms. So yeah, call me a Glock Generation 5 / Glock 19X fanboy, if you will, and I'll have to own that. But guys, I think these are great firearms from Glock, and would strongly suggest anybody looking for a 9mm to get themselves a Glock 19, without a doubt. You know, big difference from me and some of the channels you'll see that are, you know, admittedly a lot bigger than what I do, is you're going to see the same gun showing up in my videos, and you're going to see what they're like getting carried for 6 months or a year or more. You're going to see what these firearms are like after a couple thousand rounds or more. And I'm going to be honest with you about what I like and what I don't like. I have no reason not to be. So if you're looking for me to be like a channel where next week I'm going to talk about the Walther PPQ in 9mm, and the week after that the SIG 320, you're not going to see that from me. I don't really care for either of those firearms, and I have fired them, so it's not a question of me having brand attitude at all. So hope you'll continue to watch this channel, and hope you will continue to follow me on my journey with these Glocks. I think they're great firearms, and like I said, I enjoy shooting them. I think you would too. I appreciate you watching. As always, this is Dr. Drake 63 saying so long.